Yes, okay, I admit it. I'm bored. Not much on the TV. So just looking around at a bit of YouTube this afternoon. And I had a look at the usual... some of the usual suspects. And always get a bit of a chuckle out of the Miles Johnston channel. He's he's put this video up today, and he's talking about Sasha Stone, who apparently has got a Lazarus project. A Lazarus project. Now it's Easter, and Miles Johnston has never even heard of Lazarus. Obviously, it's the chap that Jesus Christ resurrected from the dead after 4 days. So presumably, if he's got a Lazarus project, then it's been dead, and he's resurrecting it. Presumably because his ridiculous 5G nonsense has not come to pass. Sasha Stone was going to all these meetings telling everybody it was going to kill everyone. Deadly 5G. And of course, 5G's rolled out, and got 5G in the area I live in. Well, piles of dead donkeys at the side of the road. You know, there's no mutated piranha fish running up and down the high street. Yeah, it's all absolute drivel. So he's gone back to, he's resurrected something, the Lazarus project, that he's probably thought he can get a few quid out of. So there we go. Also, there was an appearance from Julie Phelps, who's telling us all about the secret space program. That's, of course, so secret that she can come onto a global social media platform and tell us all about it. And she's telling us all that we've got to be careful. There's someone out there with a dirty bomb. Now, that's pretty inconsiderate, I think, because... Now, a bomb only ever goes off once, doesn't it? So, you know, if you're a bomb, being detonated is your big day. You'd really want to look your best. So you'd really hope that the person that was going to detonate you would at least give you a bit of a clean-up and a bit of a polish. You know, you wouldn't want to go out of this world as a dirty bomb, would you? I mean, absolute nonsense, preposterous. And off of the conspiracy subject, so I found something else on Miles Johnston's channel that I thought was quite interesting. But it contains the normal distortions and exaggerations. He was showing some images of his old pirate radio station in Ireland. I can't remember what it was called now, but big radio tower there. I think it's got a dozen Yagi antennas on it. And he says, "Oh yes, we had this huge 1,000,000-watt transmitter." And in fact, he didn't. Of course, he had probably a 5,000-watt transmitter, I would think, looking at that antenna array. The antenna array would probably give him his 1,000,000 watts of ERP, effective radiated power. But remember, that's an imaginary number. It's not real power. Using a technique, looking at the picture, he's got all these antennas, or these Yagi antennas, stacked and bayed. It's a technique called stacking and baying, and what that does is it squeezes all the energy that would be from an omnidirectional pattern into a fairly narrow beam. And I think looking at those antennas, it probably would have been 15 degrees, maybe 15-degree beam, give or take. Looking at that, might have been a bit smaller. But so what effectively that's saying is, if you can imagine that an omnidirectional transmission from a radio station would look like an Edam cheese, okay? So if you had a 1,000,000-watt transmitter filling that Edam cheese with energy, with 1,000,000 watts of radio frequency energy, what he's doing with his little 5,000-watt transmitter is getting a really tiny slice, a 15-degree slice of that Edam cheese, so that the antenna would be at the pointy bit and his target would be at the wide bit, and the amount of energy in that would be the equivalent of the amount of energy that would be in that slice coming from an omnidirectional 1,000,000-watt transmitter. So there's no 1,000,000 watts of energy in the signal. Getting 1,000,000 watts from of energy from a 5-watt transmitter is impossible. You get a Nobel Prize for that. Be free energy. So the amount of energy in the actual signal itself certainly wasn't 1,000,000 watts, nowhere near it. The amount of energy contained in the signal would be whatever the transmitter power was, say 5,000 watts, minus all the feeder and something called phasing harness, which is what you do when you stack and bay antennas. You have to have these things called phasing harnesses. And there'll be losses in those phasing harnesses and all the connectors and the feeder cable and everything else. So there'll be less than 5,000 watts being radiated from those antennas. But we had the huge 1,000,000-watt transmitter. No, Marl, no. You certainly wouldn't get a 1,000,000-watt transmitter in that little shed either. So just typical exaggerations and distortions that you find on the bases channel. Actually, I don't know if the radio station one was on bases. Was it? It might have been. I was just sort of flicking around, and that came up. So I thought, well, let's have a look at it. Okay, let's have a look at his 1,000,000-watt transmitter. And of course, I wasn't even remotely surprised to find that that's not what he had at all. And he's got someone on there from the Montauk project. Any of these installations that look a little bit interesting, Montauk with the big radar scanner on the top, or Pine Gap with the big domes. I'm surprised there's not some similar stories about Menwith Hill in the UK, to be perfectly honest. But you get all this claptrap about people being taken as children. And there was something that Ben Emlyn-Jones, I think, said the other day, got to rescue all these children, these children from these tunnels. They're always held underground, in tunnels. And you got to wonder where all the, all these hundreds of children, or thousands of children that are being held captive in these tunnels underground by who? The Illuminati, the New World Order, maybe? Who? I don't think they ever say who. They just say they are holding them. We never get to hear from any of the parents. All these hundreds of thousands of parents. You never turn up on 60 Minutes, do they? Saying my kid's gone. So I don't know where all this absolute bloody claptrap comes from. And Ben Emlyn-Jones, I think, said today on his reply videos, they're going to be doing another Apollo Defectives video. Actually, I didn't do a video ripping the last two of their Apollo Defectives videos to shreds. I was going to do that. It's very easy to do because they are completely clueless. They've got no idea what they're talking about. So maybe, I think looking at Marcus Allen, they're probably going to have to make it pretty quick if they want Marcus Allen involved in it. Maybe I'll do a video and rip a hole through, rip the whole three of them to pieces. Maybe that would be worth doing. Just haven't had a huge amount of time really to play YouTube lately, or pay sufficient attention to the usual suspects to offer any meaningful criticism. Beyond, of course, you can take it for granted that it's a steaming pile, whatever. Oh dear. The only thing you never hear, of course, from the truth movement is any truth. It's all absolute drivel. Was there something else? I'm doing a Scotty Kilmer here, aren't I? I'm making the videos sort of 10 minutes. There might be a secret to that. That might be the sweet spot with regard to the amount of time people actually watch videos. But I quite like watching the Scotty Kilmer channel. Nothing to do with conspiracy stuff, of course. It's a car channel, but quite enjoy watching Scotty Kilmer, and all his videos are around 10 minutes. In fact, I might go and watch one now. I don't think I've looked at Scotty Kilmer today. So anyway, there we go. So there's a 10-minute video. That's just a bit of a ramble on what I've seen. Well, I've been looking at a little bit of YouTube this Sunday afternoon when there's been nothing much on the TV. So I hope you found that interesting or informative, or both, as usual. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll catch you again.